Hello fabulous friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bang Bang Von Loola. I'm a burlesque dancer, producer, beauty enthusiast, and a lover of all things vintage. So it's definitely been a minute since I've posted anything to my channel. I had to take a few weeks off just to gather myself and prepare for something very new and exciting in my life, which I will show you at the end of this video. But I am back. I am excited to do a little quick and easy vintage inspired tutorial for you and to just do a little catch up on what's going on with me. As I'm filming this video, it is the second day of Hanukkah, which I do celebrate in some way as I am Jewish by heritage, and I've been, as I've gotten older, getting more information and educating myself more about the holidays, and Hanukkah is a minor holiday but definitely probably the most recognizable for those who are not Jewish, especially since it hits Christmas time and there's a lot of celebration and gift giving and food being eaten at this time. And I have been doing my little bit. I've been cooking kosher, I've been introducing some new things to my burlesque babies about Hanukkah and some Jewish traditions while educating myself at the same time, because I am in no way claiming that I know too much about most things with my Jewish heritage, but it is my goal to learn more as I grow older. And I am doing a tutorial today that's inspired by one of my favorite Jewish icons, and that is the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is an amazing, amazing show that all the vintage folks in the world know about by now. And the character in that is Jewish, and as are many characters around her, and I thought it would be a fun way to integrate the Jewish side of me with the vintage side and just do something kind of simple, a very easy go-to vintage look that is a little bit festive. I've already styled my hair with just a curling iron and a vintage set pattern, so I went down this way, kept everything pretty smooth up here, and I realized my hair is a great deal shorter than Midge's hair in the show, but it would get a similar effect if your hair was longer, and this is just the best that I could do, but it definitely has that vintage feel and should go well with the makeup. I'm gonna go ahead and clip my hair back just to prepare for the foundation, and since we are doing such a simple look with not a lot of eyeshadow going on, I'm actually gonna flip my usual way, which is doing foundation after I do my eyes, and do the foundation first. I'm gonna start off using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and I'm just going to smooth this all over my face, taking care to pat it into areas where I see more enlarged and obvious pores as well as fine lines. For foundation today, I'm going to be using a medium coverage foundation that can be built up to be full coverage, but we're going to try to keep in that medium coverage area to give more of that natural look to my skin, which was more of the theme in the 1950s for foundation. And the one I'm going to be using today is Milani's Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation in the shade 02 Natural. Just going to squirt some on the back of my hand, and then using my fingers, I'm going to warm it up and then blend it out to my face, and then use a wet beauty sponge to further blend it out for a more natural finish. And you want to make sure you do blend it further out onto your ears, into your hairline, as well as very importantly your neck, so that everything looks blended and there isn't a huge color variance between your neck and your rest of your face, as well as your ears and the rest of your face. It's just a little extra detail to make it look more natural. So this is exactly the kind of coverage I want from the foundation. Some of my natural skin is still showing through, and I'm going to conceal just my problem areas, which is always under my eyes and a little bit around my nose and the sides of my mouth. My go-to way of concealing right now is mixing the e.l.f. Camo concealers in the hydrating and the matte finish. I have two different colors. One's a little bit more yellow and one is a little bit lighter and peach toned, and when I blend them it's just perfect. And the colors that I'm using today are Tan Sand and Medium Peach. To mix them, I literally just take out the wand, put a little bit on the back of my hand, of each, and I think I use a little bit less of this one, which is the hydrating one and is a lighter color, and just a little bit of that, as you can see here, and then we're just gonna blend them together and pat them on under my eyes. So for the next step of my eye concealer, and somebody did ask me about this on my Facebook page or something, about how I conceal my eye bags, and I've explained it before, but I'm just going to kind of cover it again. I take a lighter color than the initial concealer that I used on the full under eye area, and I'm going to look down and see the shadow that the bags of my eyes cast, because it's very three-dimensional. And essentially, you're not going to be able to cover the fact that they are three-dimensional, but you can make it look less obvious by adding a lighter color to where the shadow is to add brightness from underneath. If you add too much of that light color on top of the eye bag, it's just going to bring more attention to it. So it's important to be careful with your placement. And for that lighter concealer that's just a little bit lighter coverage than the Camo concealer, I'm going to be using Maybelline's Fit Me Concealer in the shade 02 Sand. So I'm looking down, I'm seeing where the shadows of my eye bags are prominent, and I'm literally just going to dab a little bit where that is. So to blend this out, I'm using this fluffy mini blending brush is what I think this is. I'm not even sure what it was for initially, but what I do with it is I blend it all down so that I keep that color on the shadow and not up into the rest of my eye. So I discovered this new amazing powder that I am obsessed with, and it is apparently a dupe, I want to say, for the Charlotte Tilbury powder that everyone raves about. And the one I have is the No. 7 brand Lift and Luminate Triple Action Translucent Finishing Powder. And I have two shades. I have the medium and the medium to light, or light medium, I guess. And they're great because the lighter one I can use in the areas I want to highlight, and the medium one I get to use everywhere else. And I just am obsessed with how finely milled it is, and it does not let, especially my under eye area, crease, which is a constant struggle for me. I'm going to use the medium color first, and I'm just going to press it under my eyes. You don't need too much, honestly. It just is such great stuff, and if you do add too much, it gets a little dry, so you want to be light with your powder, but that's kind of always my philosophy, so yeah. You can also apply it with a sponge. This is the Real Techniques sponge that's made specifically for powder application, and you don't want too much, but you just press it on and look up so those little creases are not so prominent, and there you are. I'm going to take this brush to apply the lighter color of the setting powder just in the areas I want to highlight. Now I'm going to hit the rest of my face with the medium. It is a very, especially with something like the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel look, having that powdered down, but not like dry cakey powder down, but obviously mattified skin was very, very much the trend of the 1950s. So we're just going to dip a little in here. As I said, a little bit goes a long way with this, and just dust it all over your face. Make sure you get that neck. Now I'm going to contour my face slightly. Contouring was definitely concept in the 50s and before that, but it was more used by movie stars and models and not the everyday vintage person. But since it's part of my routine, I am just going to do it really quickly. And for contour today, I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Deep Bronze. I think I'm actually going to try something new that I got for Black Friday, which is this e.l.f. small oval complexion brush. And I think it'll help me get a pretty good shape for my contour, but we'll see. So this is a first impressions video all of a sudden. It's weird getting it into the pan. It's very dense already. That works well. I like it. Yeah, I really like how this brush performs. It's a little dense. I think probably it's better suited towards a liquid or cream sort of product, but it works fine. It keeps that edge not like more defined and less kind of muddy, and you can blend it out also with this. So yeah, super dig it. I'm going to move up to the eyes now. I like to do blush with the lipstick for whatever reason. So we're going to go back to the eye area, and I'm going to prime my lids with the e.l.f. Shadow Lock Concealer in Sheer. And I really like this concealer for something like this because it's a more natural look. You're not trying to block out everything. You're not using a super bright color. So this has a more natural finish, but does give a better base for eyeshadow. I'm just going to apply it with the wand and then blend it out with my finger. Midge Maisel's eyeshadow look is very simple. I mean, I don't even know that they put much in there, just besides a shadow effect, which is what eyeshadow was initially for, is to create that effect of a shadow. So we're going to go on that same vein and use only neutral colors. For today's eyeshadows, I'm going to use the Revealed palette by Coastal Scents, and it's their all matte one with 20 shades. I want to keep the color very close to where my natural socket would be, and I have hooded eyes that kind of are protrudy, so I'm going to just see where that is by pressing this brush in here. So we're not going to go beyond right here. I don't want to blend it up this way. I want to keep it really tight near my crease and just add a little shadow effect. So I'm going to start off with this dark mauve-y color here, just because I want it to look natural but also show a little bit. So we're going to dip in with this little brush, tap off the excess, and start to carve out a little bit more of a shadow area. That is extremely subtle, but I do think it is enough of a difference that you can tell. It just looks like I have a little bit more of a shadow casting up here, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to blend it out a little bit and then move over to this eye. Next, I'm going to take a clean blending brush and just diffuse the edges out slightly. Again, I don't want to bring this color too high up, but I do want it to look seamless, so we're just going to buff around, concentrating just in that area. I'm going to call that complete. I know it's crazy. We only just used one eyeshadow, but that's really the subtlety we're going for. So now we're going to move on to the eyeliner. Mrs. Maisel absolutely has a little baby cat eye going on. Just like it doesn't go out too far. It's kind of shallow, closer to the eye, but it's certainly there, and it's very clean and pure black. So I'm going to be using a gel eyeliner because it's also matte, as far as I can tell in the show. So I could use a liquid, but I find that those leave like a texture after a while of just like trying to layer and get the shape perfectly. And with gel or pot eyeliner, it works a lot better for this sort of look. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Lasting Drama Gel Liner in the shade Blackest Black. I'm using an angled eyeliner brush, and I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. I also want to mention that they keep the shape pretty round at the top, which does actually make quite a difference. I know it seems like a subtlety, but if you draw it too straight down, it kind of elongates the eye in a different way, and they certainly had that rounded top. So take your time to create a more rounded shape right above your retina. So now that we have the initial shape on the eye done, I'm going to do just the tiniest little flick. It's not exactly a cat eye, but it's definitely got a little flick. So I'm going to take this brush and just following where my bottom lash line would go, but not too far out, more upwards than outwards. I'm going to add a little tiny line. That looks pretty good to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and recreate that on the other eye, and then we're gonna move on to the brows. Okay, so the eyeliner's done. They're not identically the same. I just kept messing with it and I actually got it a little thicker than I think I would have wanted it to. But as long as you're looking straight ahead and you can still see a little bit of your skin before the crease starts, then I think you're good. So now I'm going to move up to the brows and I'm going to set my eyebrows with soap, which is the way that I've been doing it for almost a year now. And I'm going to just use a little bit of spray to moisten up that soap and then shape the eyebrows and let that set for a little bit. And while we're doing that, we'll apply some eyelashes. So while these bad boys are setting, I'm going to prep my eyelashes for a very simple falsie that's not too much with my Maybelline Colossal Lash Waterproof Mascara. For lashes today, I'm opting for a slightly more natural looking lash than I might usually for a more dramatic look. And we are going to be using the Lash DNA Accentuate Your Eye Shape for Hooded and Almond Eyes by Salon Perfect. In order to kind of camouflage the band on these lashes, I am going to use a black eyelash adhesive today. So honestly, these are a little bit more dramatic of a lash than I would want if I was really trying to accurately recreate the look of the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but unfortunately these are the most natural ones I have at the moment, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. Now moving back to the brows. They've had time to set with that clear glycerin soap, and now I'm going to be going in with my favorite eyebrow pomade by e.l.f. It's their Lock On Liner and Brow Cream in the medium brown shade. For the shape of the eyebrows, Mrs. Maisel has a very iconic 1950s shape brow, and actually it is pretty dark all the way up to this point, which I don't usually do, but I will do that today just to give more of an authentic feel, and also to kind of like even out these crazy lashes. The eyebrows are looking cute. I actually kind of like bringing that dark color all the way up. It really makes it look more 1950s, which is super fun. I want the eyes to look a little bit more even at the bottom. She keeps it very, very clean. I think maybe a very sparse amount of mascara down there. But I'm going to add, just because of the intensity of these lashes, a little bit of the same color I used in my crease to the bottom lash line and a soft coating of mascara. Alright, that looks just a little bit more balanced, and now we're going to move on to some of my favorite parts of a 1950s look, and that is blush and lipstick. In the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Midge ends up working at a makeup counter selling primarily Revlon lipsticks. Now Revlon came out with a special Mrs. Maisel pack that had 3 lipsticks, I believe, and I have 2 of them already just from collecting Revlon lipsticks because it's one of those brands that continues to make shades from the 50s. And those colors are Fire and Ice and Cherries in the Snow. According to my research, they didn't actually use the Revlon lipsticks as a part of the hair and makeup and costume portion of the show. They used, I think it was a YSL lipstick, I'm not sure. But what I'm going to actually try today, instead of the Revlon colors, because I've done a little bit of a video about those before, I'm going to try something new that I got for Black Friday, and it's a luxury lipstick from a brand I have of course heard of but never tried before, McGrath. The packaging is really pretty. It feels nice and heavy, and the color is a darker red than either of the Revlon ones I just showed you, and I'm kind of really feeling that right now. It snowed today. I want to feel that holiday spirit in whatever way it comes through, and I think that this color will be really great for that. I'm going to line my lips with a red lip liner, which is not my norm. Usually I do a more kind of brown, mauve-y lip liner to make my lips look more three-dimensional. But since this character just has this very clean, powdered, not too crazy lip, just like a beautiful, perfectly applied swipe of red lipstick, I want to recreate that instead of the more Marilyn Monroe type way that I usually do it. So we're going to create a lip shape with this red lip pencil from Maybelline, the Colorsensational lip liner in the shade Brick Red. I'm so excited to try this. I didn't even put the blush on yet, which usually would be my next step, but whatever, we'll get to it. And I'm gonna go in directly with the bullet and perfect it with a lip brush afterwards. So let's wrap up this look with my go-to blush, which is the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso. Here is the completed Mrs. Maisel inspired look. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. I promise I will be good and do a video every week like I was. I just had to take a couple weeks off to kind of get my ducks in a row, work on some muggle work, and also prepare my house and my life for, drumroll please, our new puppy. So this is my new puppy. Her name is Janeway, after the Star Trek captain from Voyager, and she's absolutely perfect. I could not imagine a more perfect dog for me and my husband in our house full of cats and chickens. And she's just so good and so sweet and so smart, and she's also very special because she's a tripod puppy. So a tripod puppy is a dog that only has 3 legs, and Janeway had her left back leg amputated because of an injury that occurred when she was a baby. But she's doing fine, she's doing so good, she's so healthy, and she's just so good, and I'm so in love, and I couldn't imagine a more perfect thing. And I just wanted to show you guys my little bundle of joy and give you an even more adorable reason why I haven't been on YouTube. But believe me, there will be more videos of makeup tutorials and probably of this pup in the future. And I appreciate every single one of you so much for watching. Ooh, hello. She's so cute. She's like, I want to lick all that expensive lipstick off your face. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Every subscriber gets me closer to my goal. And until next time, my darlings, remember that the future is bright. Puppies are damn cute. And I will see you in my next video.